Welcome, welcome, welcome. There's over 30 of you registered, so please feel free to just tune in, keep yourself muted, video off, be in your own space, enjoy your own version of ceremony right now. We will be dropping in shortly for a ceremony into the heart, into the body, to reset the nervous system, to come into accord with where we want to go this beautiful Monday and head for the week that is fresh and new. So it's so beautiful to sit with you all. For those of you that don't know me, I'm Emily Hazel, and I've been facilitating cacao ceremonies actually since 2017. So it's been a while. It's been a hot minute that I've been working with the medicine of cacao, this beautiful, generous, subtle, kind medicine of the heart. And today we're going to journey through what cacao is and why we consume it and how it's actually working with us on a physiological level, as well as exploring the ritual uses of essential oils and how these plant allies assist me in ceremony, how they assist me in embodiment and restoring integrity when there's emotional blocks, or grounding me when life gets too big and chaotic. Now, this is important because we're about to enter into the silly season, or like the season of festivities and end of year. And I think this is actually where we get to double down on our practices that feel really good and carve out time, no matter how quick or fast or, a little amount that you have, that we can actually come into our ceremony and receive what it is that we need. So the plants really help us do that. I've got my cacao sitting behind here. I'm using today the Sacred brand. I've been working with these guys in collaboration for 5 years. They're amazing. I blend together the fire and the earth. They have a bunch of other ingredients in them, not just ceremonial cacao. Wildly crafted, ethically sourced, all the good shit. And we're also going to be talking about the doTERRA oils and how I use them in my own embodiment practices to support me emotionally, spiritually, physically, everywhere. So to get started, I invite you to just get comfortable, close the other browser tabs, shut down your phone, treat this as sacred, as ceremony for you. At any time, this replay will be available on YouTube, so you can come back in later if, whenever you feel complete. But my intention here is that we recenter and focus for the week ahead, because it is that time of year when things start to pick up and start to build momentum, or we might be going through some kind of initiation that is asking us to spend a little bit more time slowing down and being rather than doing. So I'm going to share some slides with you. How do I get there? And the invitation here is also to take notes where necessary. Grab your journal. Feel free to take a story at any time and show me your space. Tag me on Instagram at Spirited Seeker. This is my favorite thing to do. I've been hosting ceremonies, as I said, for over 5 years in retreat spaces all around the world, online with people all around the world, up to 70 people at events. It's just such an honor to utilize this medicine and allow it to work its magic on us, even in the spirit of the plants, not even if you're consuming it. If you don't even have a cup with you right now, that's okay. So, my loves, take the biggest breath you've taken all damn day. These slides were originally used last week on my events that I hosted for Halloween. So forgive the Halloween edition text. I'll be able to see the chat box as well. So if there's anything that comes up for you, if you have any questions, please feel free to let me know how you're going, or if there's something that needs to be clarified. I'm with you. We're here together. And so firstly, let's talk about what the fuck cacao is. And you probably already have a relationship with cacao, right? Why does this feel important? It felt important for me because when I consume something for a long time and it kind of becomes second nature, it loses its like magic, you know, when something's so familiar and habitual, you're kind of like, oh yeah, that's just what I do now. So I felt this was important for me first and foremost to reignite my passion for this medicine. And I keep saying that word because it's used for medicinal and therapeutic purposes, right? Cacao is the potentiator of dopamine and feel-good hormones in the system. It literally creates sensations of pleasure. So just that alone as a physiological support, if we're moving through things, if we're feeling numb, if we're feeling burnt out, if we're feeling fear, just that alone is such an incredible tool to be aware of, and how to interact with cacao really mindfully so that it can work on our system. So cacao is the original chocolate. I have had a relationship with chocolate my entire life. I know that for sure. That anytime I felt emotional or, you know, overwhelmed, I'd want to go to a block of chocolate. And there was good reason for that, right? Because originally the essence of this plant is to make us feel good, is to warm and to stimulate endorphins and to boost energy and to open the heart. So the reason we call it a heart opener is it also increases the blood flow and circulation. So we're literally bringing energy, bringing new blood to the heart, which can create a heightened sense of empathy, emotional intimacy, and just feeling yum, feeling back, right? So I love remembering this about cacao because I've gone through a few phases. I've got my cup here, so I'm sipping with you. I've gone through a few phases where I've known it's time to break. And earlier this year, I had probably 5 or 6 months mostly off cacao, to be honest, because it is quite warming. I run really hot. I'm Pitta in Ayurveda. And I think it's again, interact with this medicine mindfully rather than just do things that, you know, they seem like a wellness hashtag self-care thing. Actually tap into what the medicine is giving you and when and why we reach for it. But ceremony to me is really about just coming into the body and shutting out the noise of the outside world and aligning back to where we want to go, honoring where we've been, and taking the sacred pause to digest what's going on. So not only is all these amazing things happening on the physiological level, there is also the emotional aspects, right? With the heart open and the nervous system grounded, we can start to access the feelings that might have been stuffed away or tucked away, you know, a shot of coffee to suppress it there and Netflix at night to ignore it there, which of course is so human, right? If you'd like to try this particular brand, I have an amazing discount code just for you guys. So let me know via Instagram and I can send you that link. You'll also have the link in the notes below this on YouTube and in the replay email. So how cacao and essential oils interact with me together is that I'm obsessed with the idea of the future self. I love living a life of absolute intention. I want to know that my precious energy is being used on things that really matter to me and are a reflection of my values. Because let's be honest, life is big and busy, and it's so easy to get swept up into the shiny object syndrome of busyness and something new all the time. This is what we're wired to be, right? And ceremony gives me an opportunity to come back into my center, to find what is true for me, to reroute and to redirect or recalibrate, to make sure that everything I'm choosing is going in the direction of my dream, my vision, my why. And so smell is an amazing way that we can work with our neural pathways to anchor future memories. This is a saying that is heard a lot when we're talking about the future self or conscious creation. Future memories is visualization or projecting yourself into the future. It's like a manifestation technique, right? And when we're operating from an outdated way of being, that's the path well grooved in the brain. And smell takes us right back there, right? You've had an experience where you smell something and you're like, oh my gosh, I was just a kid again in the summertime. Or I was at my grandmother's house, or that cologne reminds me of that person, right? So essential oils in tandem with cacao help me anchor a new way of being, because I'm using smell to evoke feeling and to link them together in my brain. So when we're doing any kind of ceremony, any kind of manifestation practice, we're tapping beyond the conscious mind into the subconscious. And how I can use essential oils especially is not only the chemical constituents of each oil have specific benefits for particular uses that I want to use them for, but they're accessible. It's in the now. So in the moment that I'm feeling a bit wobbled, or I'm feeling like I'm going back into an outdated behavior and I'm off track toward my future self, I literally can just rub it on my hands and smell it, or open the cap and I'm back. Yeah. This is rewiring using the allies of the plants. And I think it's just so special that we have them on access to us so easily. So who's ready for ceremony? I'm going to put some music on. We're going to be journeying for about 15 to 20 minutes, just so your brain knows what to expect. And my invitation here is to go beyond time, right? And know that when we enter into ceremonial space, we're stretching beyond those limits. We can access the quantum field, not just 9:15 to 9:45 or whatever. Like, we're actually moving beyond the containment that time gives us. So it's not how little we're journeying today together, it's how deep do you go? How wide do you want to take this? So get comfortable, take a big drink of water, shuffle around. If you have any essential oils, if you have anything that anchors smell of your future self, of something that calms you, grounds you, projects you into a feeling that you want more of, deeply breathe that in now. And then we're going to move in. We're going to just take a few moments to look around the room and to notice the ceiling, the floor, the walls. And to just pay attention to how held you are in the 3D right now. That this is the expression of the masculine energy. It's got you. So no matter how scattered you might be feeling, or if there's to-do lists left undone, or you're kind of all over the place, just become aware of the corners and the lines, the containment of above and below and the sides. And then coming to a soft gaze, and if you have your cacao, please pick that up and bring it to your heart center. You might like to just take a soft gaze, and when you feel comfortable, closing down the eyes completely. And just seeing what happens when there's no instruction. Seeing what happens when you're thrust into being with yourself. When there's no phone to reach for, when there's no thing to do, no task to complete, nothing to prove through your doership, and it's just you existing, being. Begin to consciously connect with the spirit of cacao now. Calling in the entity of cacao, and however it presents itself to you. And as you start to feel that energy enter the room with you, allow it in to your energetic body before you consume her with your physical body. Start to become acquainted with the energetic qualities of this beautiful medicine. Feel the warmth. Notice what color is associated. The texture of silk and smooth and creamy and soft. Imagine cacao wrapping you up like a blanket. And now bringing awareness to the palms of your hands warmed by your cup. Drawing the cacao up toward your face, not to sip, but to smell. As you breathe cacao in, feel your chemistry change. Feel your state change. What happens if you really let this in? And now as you're bringing all of your senses online, allowing perhaps the hips to sway, the roots to plug into your chair, your seat, feeling so grounded, so held. Allow that breath now to become a little elongated. And instead of breathing to attempt to calm yourself or to let something go, breathe as if you are making love to life. Start to feel the sensual nature of cacao come through. Your creation energy simply evoked and reflected back through the interaction that you have with your cup. And allowing the pelvis to ever so subtly tilt and rock, connecting to that inner fire of creation in yourself, that flicker of desire. Perhaps it's burning or raging. Start to feel the turn on for your future self, where you're going. And as you start to see qualities of your future self, with every exhalation, I invite you to offer that into your cup as if you're literally programming the cacao with what you want. This is you practicing your magic. This is you being the alchemist. It's within your power right now. Think about everything you need and be even more generous with yourself. Gather up everything that you could want. Courage, strength, clarity, support, calm, abundance, deep sleep, more pleasure, whatever it is. Every exhalation, you're giving it into the cup, encoding this cacao. And when you feel like the liquid of the gods in between your hands is full of everything you could desire more of, allow yourself to take the cup to your lips and take your time, really consciously opening to receive what you want. Don't rush this. Don't hurry to get from A to B. Don't miss the pleasure in the process. When you get the signal of absolute readiness, take your first sip. Allow yourself to just relish in the receptivity of letting it all in. What it might be like if you just let yourself have it now. If there was nothing left to do, no one to become, nothing to get better at. Feel the relief in that and see what comes through. When instead of focusing on asking and calling in and reaching out and doing and chasing, what if you just let go for a moment? What if you let your shoulders drop? What if you allowed cacao to soften the armor around your heart? Choosing whenever you feel ready to have your next sip, just consuming cacao in the way that feels best for you for the rest of this process. As slow as you like, as deep as you like, as much as you like. Again, tuning into how just being here with yourself is changing your state. Feeling what it's like to be open to receive. Maybe there's a deep relief and surrender here for you. Maybe there is a terror or an uncomfort. Maybe it feels weird or strange, like you should be doing something else. Wrapped in the comfort of cacao, still feeling that flicker of desire burning in your sacral, in your root, in your sex, and just playing out what it's like to want and then to get, to want and then to get, going beyond need, even going beyond desire. And feeling the purity that's underneath your want. Feel the erotic innocence of everything it is that you want. And then feel the correctness of receiving it. Allow those qualities that you've been calling in to wash through you and over you as cacao works its way into your system, both in your body, embodied, and in your energy system, your subtle bodies, your emotional body. How easy can you let it be to rest in this frame of knowing you can have what you need, what you want, what you desire, that it's here for you, ready and waiting for you to let it in. Continuing to sip your cacao, ingesting this beautiful medicine, warming you. Starting to think about now anything you're ready to set down that might be in the way of truly aligning to this future self version of you that has what they want. And just trust what comes up. It might be silly, it might not make sense, but what is the thing that just in this moment, just today, I can set down? I can consciously choose to redirect my focus away from this thing. Because once we call it forward, we acknowledge it, it no longer has that power over us. Taking a deep breath in as if you're gathering all the parts of you that are connected and intertwined with this thing that can't come with you. And on your exhale, set it down. And now, as you continue to sip and forecast your vision to this future self, ask for that one aligned action for you to take just today. Just today. One baby step to courageously walk toward this future self. Resisting where your mind wants to go to figure it all out and to get it right, and just allowing that action to surface as if it's been held underwater and it's finally been let go to become buoyant. Let it reveal itself to you. And feel in your heart the commitment now you have to taking that action today. Cacao opens us, but it also increases our energy. It makes us feel good in getting after it, in taking action, in moving from a sensually grounded, intentional place. It helps us with focus and concentration and mental clarity. And so as you feel the music build, ever so slowly, feel that increase in energy in your own body now. The desire to do, but with such pleasure and intention. The desire to make a new choice to align with your highest timeline. Feel the excitement in this, the curiosity in this, the turn on in this, where you could go, where the unknown could lead you. When productivity becomes pleasure-led and a part of your purpose path. Taking your final few deep breaths here, just getting excited for the day ahead, the week ahead, the month ahead. Making that commitment to yourself in your own way. Bringing a smile to the lips. Thanking cacao, thanking this moment, thanking yourself for choosing ceremony, for choosing self-care. Whenever you feel ready, you might like to come slowly, mindfully back to the screen. And I would absolutely love to see your one aligned action in the chat box. Claim it, share it, be held accountable for it. You might also like to tell us what you saw in your future self vision, what come through for you, anything that feels relevant to help settle and solidify that into your system. Yum. That was so beautiful. Thank you for journeying with me. So we're going to talk for the next 15 or so minutes about, just putting some Blue Lotus on, about some of the most potent essential oils I've used for accessing heightened states, for connecting and manifesting my future self, for anything from attracting more money, moving out of anxiety attacks, literally transforming, being like paralyzed in episodes of panic into calm, creating restful sleep. There's just so many ways that I use the power of the plants to support me. And as I shared this with the full room we had last week on Halloween, the cacao ceremony we did in the flesh, in real life, I was quite emotional and moved as I shared some of my stories, which I won't be able to share too much of today because we had a bit more time then. And just how profoundly different my life is and my experience of being alive is as a result of choosing to say yes to working with the plants in this way, to saying yes to cacao, yes to ceremony, yes to essential oils that have been in my world for about 8 years. And when I think about the before me that longed for this future self version, which I feel very in confidence that I am now, and I'm not stopping yet. She was so emotionally numb. I used to boast in my 6-year relationship that I wouldn't cry. I think I cried twice in a 6-year relationship back then. I was so used to a heightened state of ecstasy or a depressed low state, and there was no spectrum in between. It was just anxiety or a shutdown. And what these plant allies have helped me to do for the biggest part, because it all linked up to the symptoms I was experiencing and the ailments that were paining me for years, was this access to my emotional body, my intuition, my psychic channel, my feminine essence, my ability to slow down and tap out of like that fight, flight, freeze, or flee. Those years for me were just so stuck like concrete in my body and my being. And as much as I was active and out traveling and living my best life, I was also deeply unwell. I had a mystery illness for over 25 years where I was chronically constipated. I had chronic insomnia. I wasn't able to digest my food or digest my life. And exposing myself to the chemical constituents and the spirit of these plant essences helped me in a really kind and gentle way. That's what I needed back then. Start to open to my emotions. And so today in my cacao, my first one I'm going to share with you is wild orange, which is one of the most popular doTERRA essential oils there is. It's quite inexpensive, which I think also plays a part of that. And I take 2 drops of wild orange in my cacao. I even do that in my coffee. Wild orange is the essential oil of abundance. And like all citrus oils, there's a refreshing, captivating, cheerful, energizing attribute. There's a quality to it that just makes you feel expanded, right? Even think of the color orange, like Leo energy, the sun, bright, joy, creativity. So wild orange is by far my longest term ride or die. It was the first essential oil I ever used in 2015. And I remember I was telling this story at the event. It was the first oil I was ever given, because when here we go, there's one here. This 5 ml version. So these bottles on the screen I'm showing you are 15 ml. This 5 ml version. A lot of people that have doTERRA businesses get heaps of these and give them away for free as gifts, because wild orange is the oil of abundance, right? If someone wants to purchase the oils or to purchase the products, but they're having those like, I don't know, the oil of abundance can really help us break through that and expand us. And I was given that when I had $1.80 in my bank account. I just finished a 6-month trip around Australia living in a van. And I went to an essential oil circle in 2015. And I remember dousing myself in this shit, being like, I'm abundant, I'm abundant, I'm abundant. I have my own business. I was doing hospitality at the time, you know, I didn't want to work for someone else. I hated that service work. It was hectic. It's hard labor. And I thought about this when I was sharing cacao with wild orange in it the other night, being like, wow, I really did it. And that oil was my first exposure to this world of interacting with plants in a new way. So wild orange is my favorite. Has anybody else used wild orange before? Also in my cacao today is 1 drop of frankincense. It's really strong and really potent. It is the king of oils. I'm showing you in my screen here, my little king hat. This was a limited edition oil that came out for Christmas last year. Oh, Monique also has Frankie and wild orange in today's cacao. Yum. So frankincense, I also like to put a drop of it on the crown of my head. Really like opens up your channel. Frankincense, we've heard, you know, in every kind of religion, like frankincense exists because it was the first thing to be traded of value, right? Like this is literally precious gold. Frankincense shows up as the gift when Jesus was born. Like there's a lot of mythological and stories and history around frankincense because of all of its literally mystical powers. There's so many uses for frankincense. Frankincense is actually what got me to start my doTERRA business this year, because I had a health scare and I went to my friend Jessie Reimers, who's the Australia doTERRA founder, and I asked her, you know, what can I do with this scare? And she gave me a bottle of frankincense and told me how to use it. And she told me a story about her friend who had a giant tumor on her thyroid that was inoperable. And they told her, like, this is going to kill you and we can't do anything about it. The same friend was sharing that with Jessie a few years ago. Jessie gave her frankincense and she said, use this on yourself every 4 hours, a couple of drops mixed with castor oil. And within 2 months, the tumor had shrunk so drastically that they were able to operate, and she's still here living her best life today. So frankincense has such a wide array of incredible medicinal purposes. It relieves restlessness and calms the nerves. It soothes anxiety and stress. That's why I consume it in my cacao. And also spiritually, I feel it open me. Frankincense resin and, you know, the plant was used by ancient Egyptians for beauty purposes, for perfume, for ceremonial purposes. I've just come back from Egypt where we used frankincense resin as our offerings. So frankincense was number 2 to share with you today because of my relationship with it, that's definitely deepened more recently, having just been to Egypt. And next up, there's ginger. I don't have any ginger at the moment, but when I made cacao for everybody last week, I put this inside the cacao as well. Ginger we know and we're very familiar with, right? Ginger beer is actually what got me through my 25-year mystery illness. Most of that time I was nauseous, and that really was awful. I was a sick kid, a sick teenager. I used to wear those C bands, you know what you wear on boats that like press into an acupressure point? I used to wear them to school, in all my photos as a teenager, out at clubs. I've got them on because I was just nauseous all the time. It was really awful. And I so wish that someone had exposed me to essential oils earlier, because I suffered a lot. I was taking anti-nausea medication they give to chemo patients. I was on 8 pills a day, and that traditional medicine was not working for me. So ginger beer, like Bundaberg ginger beer, which does have real ginger root in it, I checked, it's not just like flavoring, is the only thing that used to make me feel good. And I think, oh my gosh, imagine if I actually had access back then to the essential oil by taking 1 drop in water or in tea. You know, physically so supportive of activating and firing on the digestive system, soothing the digestive system, reducing bloating and gas, easing nausea, aiding in digestion. But on an emotional level, ginger actually cuts through your bullshit. Ginger is the most powerful manifestation oil if you're looking at reprogramming limiting beliefs and rewiring them into something more supportive. So ginger can actually help us if we're consuming it in cacao, or we're using it to inhale, we're diffusing it, we're anointing with it. It helps us laser in on the stuff that is in the way of our future self, which is what we just journeyed in our ceremony, right? And helps us redirect. It gives us courage. Ginger is called the oil of empowerment. And empowerment doesn't mean I just feel good and it's like this fake caffeinated feeling, right? It's not fleeting. The oil of empowerment gives us the courage and self-assurance to go in, to look at what's not working and to tend to it. Yeah. So ginger is amazing. This one's also quite inexpensive. It's an epic essential oil to add to your rituals. On Guard is a blend, the protective blend. And why I included this, because On Guard is typically shared about with cleaning, which is amazing. I love cleaning. I love natural, toxic-free house. I get that. But I'm not passionate about sharing cleaning with you. What I'm more passionate about is talking about boundaries energetically and communicating them, setting them. This is such a huge topic in like social media psychology today, and for good reason, right? We live in a world that is so on all the time, especially with technology now. We have accessibility. People can just come in and access us whenever we want, rather than, writing a letter and sending it, or going over to somebody's house and knocking on the door. We've got this access that's exposed. And for me, I believe that we're all sensitive, we're all empathic, we're all intuitive. And those channels get clogged if we're constantly in this entanglement and enmeshment with all the other people, energy, ideas that are around. So On Guard is an amazing blend to use to support your energetic boundaries. It strengthens your immunity physically. This is like ride or die for, oh my gosh, I use this on the soles of my feet in Egypt every night, and one drop in the morning when I would gargle and then swallow. I didn't get sick. I was in North Africa. Everybody else got sick. I did not get sick. I did not get a tummy bug. I helped other people that were navigating those things using this oil. And it's just absolutely amazing. If you feel a flu coming on, you can drink it, you can ingest it, you can diffuse it, you can use it on your body topically. It's just so incredible. Cleaning surfaces with it. So for me, part of my ritual is cleaning. I love tidying. That is it Marie Kondo, the life-changing magic of tidying up. And so weekly, I wipe down my phone and my computer with On Guard essential oil. Just one drop on a cloth does the whole thing. I wipe my surfaces with this, my bedside tables, and for me, this curates an environment of clean energy where I am protected and connected. So utilizing this oil helps us find and feel our yes with that warm, spicy, woody oils. There's cinnamon, there's clove, there's a bunch of really delicious oils in this. So it's got this like oomph. And when you feel that and you're exposed to that, it's much easier to say no. It's easier to set healthy boundaries. It's easier to protect yourself against, what they say, energy vampires, or picking up your phone and having really loose boundaries with your own self. So On Guard is an amazing one to use in everyday life for energetic hygiene, which of course we want to be most embodied. Yeah. I'm not going to talk about lavender today because I'm aware of time. This one emotionally is and was my absolute game changer with my mystery illness. From about the age of 15, I was almost permanently looking like I was 8 months pregnant. My belly was so bloated and so hard. And it was awful. I felt sick all the time. I wasn't able to try new foods. I was really fussy. I couldn't wear clothes that, you know, teenage girls get to wear. I didn't wear jeans, I don't think, until I was like 26, because I was like, I can't put a button on. It was awful. And the more I tried to fix it and heal it, doing all these different things, created more stress and pressure. It just didn't work. The traditional medical route of, you know, doing the tests and the allergies and the sensitivities and everything, there was never any answer. It was so frustrating. Zengest, which was formerly named Digest Zen, if you've heard of it, the doTERRA blend for digestion, was the game changer for me in understanding the connection between my digestion and my emotions. And think about it. It's our center, right? It's our center of our being, our body, our point of magnetism, of where we call things in, literally, where we eat, where we digest, where we assimilate. So Zengest, the oil of assimilation. So not only physically does it support me, and I've seen it support everybody that I've ever used it with or on or heard stories about. If you're bloated, if you've eaten a bit too much, if you're exposed to a tummy bug, if you are just feeling a bit off because you've eaten something you probably shouldn't have, it settles the stomach. Couple of drops on your hand or straight on your belly and a clockwise direction massage. You literally see the bloating go down. It's absolutely incredible. Mine's up there, but I would otherwise read the ingredients. There's peppermint, there's fennel, there's all these amazing essential oils in there. You can ingest this one as well. So in a hot tea, I just put a drop even last night because I did a little bit of overeating. It's relaxing and soothing and calming and grounding and settling. But the embodiment piece of this, the ritualistic part of Zengest, because all of that doesn't sound very sexy, is that we can't manifest and create and call in if we're not digesting what's already here. Oh, game changer for me. A lifetime of emotion was stored up in my body and held in my digestive tract. I had 2 ultrasounds in the traditional medical route that I did, age 16 and age 25. Both of those scans showed that I had 14 kilos of waste in my intestines, and they could not believe that I looked the way I did, that I was as active the way I was. They told me that that situation is that of a palliative care patient. They couldn't understand how I was just still operating and doing life. And Zengest was introduced to me probably a few years before that second scan. And I'd started to, you know, meditate. I'd started to do yoga. I started kind of teetering into these practices. And that year that I got the scan, and it was this like confronting, this is the truth, this is what's happening in your body, like wake up. I started using this oil almost every day to massage my belly because it hurt. There was so much to break down. And within 2 months, I've told this story a few times, I think on my podcast, how I healed 25 years of chronic illness. I began to dissolve those hard, contracted emotional baggage that was living in my body. And it wasn't a cathartic experience. It wasn't like, you know, doing plant medicine once and you have this huge breakthrough and then your life changes forever. It was a slow process. It was a daily, consistent thing. Feminine discipline is what I call it, right? And the feminine aspect being that I was returning to how nature's medicine cabinet. Zengest helped me feel my way through what I was avoiding and what I was not looking at so that I could start to let it go. I love this oil. And finally, I'm going to share with you balance. This was also a huge part of my experience. I'm just going to have a sip. Obviously, for anybody listening that has any knowledge around holistic wellness, understands that there is a connection between your gut health, your brain chemistry, your mental health, and basically everything else that's going on in life. So with that happening, with me not sleeping, with me not digesting, I was having frequent panic episodes of anxiety. Multiple times a week, I would be on the floor, completely paralyzed with tetany. You know, if you do breath work and your hands all shrivel up. So I wasn't able to move. And I would be like that for up to 3 hours at a time. So it was really disruptive in my life. You know, I would sometimes work 8-hour shifts and I'd be having a panic attack in the storeroom and I wouldn't be able to move. There were multiple times where a coworker would find me out the back or in the fridge or like locked myself away and I wasn't able to move forward. I was so frozen. I think about this now and I'm like, wow, that is so not my experience anymore. And I just really wish for anyone that experiences anxiety or panic attacks to be able to have access to things like this, to tools that can really powerfully support them in moving through the emotion, the cycle of energy that knows how to move when we get out of the way. But of course, if there is trauma response and we go into shutdown, we're experiencing things like this that are just so awful and derailing. Balance was given to me by a friend, probably in 2016, and I was still having quite frequent panic episodes. But over time, I started to anchor this essential oil with a sense of calm. So I wouldn't just use it when I was having a panic attack. I would use it in meditation. And I started to create the future memory of calm, of I am relaxed, I'm safe, I am grounded, right? And because that was the association with the smell and also, of course, the intelligence of these plants, and we'd need a whole workshop to talk about that. I'm just simply sharing my experience. This oil, when I was in panic or I was in fight, flight, freeze, or I was in anxiety or heightened state of stress, would bring me into my body. It would harmonize and stabilize me. It would refocus and recenter me. And why this is a part of my embodiment practice still is because, again, life is crazy. Life is big. There's always emotions running through. So something I love to do with balance, and it was actually the free essential oil of the month this month with our loyalty rewards program. So I'm so excited. My delivery should be coming tomorrow. I'm getting a free balance blend, which is epic because I think maybe they're around $40, I think, is to just put it on the soles of my feet at any time. And if I do go into ceremony, to place it on my wrists or my emotional acupressure point, to breathe in, and I feel like I'm calm, I'm connected, I'm here, that all is well. So there was a couple others that I could have told you about, but I'm not going to do that today because of time. Let me just check. 10:02. Awesome. I'm going to stay here for another 5 minutes. If these oils are something that you want to share with other people, perhaps you already have oils like Monique. She's got her frankincense and wild orange in her cacao today. She knows what's up. If you want to experience the oils yourself, if this is something that you're going through or, you know, you want to support yourself with no matter what. I mean, even from being chronically ill, the oils were so supportive. Now I'm like, the oils are still so supportive because they're meeting me where I'm at now and where I want to go. But if there's someone that comes to mind that needs this, that wants this, my invitation to you is get this as a Christmas gift for them. Gift them calm, gift them ceremony, gift them emotional alchemy. Yeah. And so there's a few ways to do that. And with doTERRA, they don't invest as a company in billboards and adverts and commercials and whatever. They sell through people, right? So you've probably been exposed to that model before. And I have a doTERRA business now. And if you want to share the oils, you can also start a doTERRA business. But this is one of the ways you can get started. Every single oil I mentioned so far is in this starter kit, which waives the $35 membership fee. If you're already a doTERRA account holder, you can order this starter pack. You can order single oils just in your back end. So when you have a doTERRA account, it's online. You don't have to order every month if you don't want to. It's very easy to just place single orders. It's $7.95 shipping standard for everywhere, unless you spend over a certain amount. I've never paid for shipping because I always get like my MetaPower system every month, which takes me over the line. But this is the most incredible way to get started with beauty, cleaning, non-toxic lifestyle, energetic protection, emotional support. As you can see, we've got the frankincense, On Guard, Zen Jest, Balance, lavender, which I didn't speak about, but I did include Clary Calm and Wild Orange. It's all in this one, and ginger. There we go, which is pretty incredible. So if you don't want a starter kit, there's multiple. This is one of the big ones. There's other starter kits that have less in them. They just didn't include all of them. So I thought I'd show you this one. It's just a $35 fee to get started with your account. If you don't have an account, that is waived when you invest in a starter pack. So if you just want to buy single oils, if there was a product today that really excited you and you're like, oh my God, I need frankincense, yes. You can just buy a single oil or a few or whatever you want. There's just a $35 fee to get started, and you pay that once and you never pay that again. Yeah, right. Beautiful, potent starter pack. I wish I could give this to like every single person for Christmas. Can you imagine? I also just bought, I'm waiting on that this month, for the Yarrow Pom Beauty Complex, which is just the yarrow flower and pomegranate. It's this blue, sexy liquid in this gold branding. I'm so excited because I just ran out of my rosehip oil and use it as a serum. So I'm really, really excited. I know that that's helped with a lot of people's acne scarring. Correct X as well. I'm about to gift my mum. She's just had a skin cancer removed from like up behind her eye. And so obviously we don't want that area. It's so fragile on the face to scar. Correct X has hieroclism as the main ingredient, which is liquid stitches. It's actually used in Western medicine, but there's no bullshit in this one. There's a lot of really other supportive plant-based ingredients to help support scarring. That would actually be amazing to post birth, I'm assuming. There's so many in this. Oh my gosh, I could talk about everything all day long, but I'm not going to. But there is so many ways that you can get involved with doTERRA, whether it's a single oil, whether it's buying gifts for Christmas, you know, getting the jump start, getting your order so that you're all set, or even sharing it with other people. If that's something that feels so natural to you, that naturally you want to be like, oh my gosh, you're having a panic attack here. This is what helped me. I'm looking to continue building my businesses and supporting others and putting my mentorship skills into other people and building their businesses, whether you just want to get your products for free and never have to pay for them again, which is pretty awesome and quite easy to do, or you want to go all the way and actually create a side income. That is my intention here. That's what I'm building and doing. And it's so exciting. It's so fun. And if you want to purchase, if you want to order, if you want to talk about building a business, you know where to find me. Slide into my DMs at Spirited Seeker on Instagram. Otherwise, if you're watching this on YouTube, there's going to be a few links underneath that you can click that take you straight to, you know, my personal doTERRA site and things like that. But if you have any questions or anything you want to know about what we've talked about today, I know it's a lot. If you want access to my playlist for Cacao Ceremony, look up Emily Hazel on Spotify. I think it's the top hit on Spotify of the Cacao Ceremony playlist. There's like almost 4,000 likes on it. So you'll find that, no worries. That's where you'll get your ceremonial music to help you in your embodiment. If you want to buy cacao, that link is on Instagram as well. So come say hi over there, get stocked up for the crazy season, because we're actually going to create calm amidst the chaos. That's my standard that I'm committing to, and I invite you there too. Okay, my loves, thank you so much for tuning in and joining me, and may you have an incredibly beautiful, lovely Monday full of magic, and this week, this month, the rest of 2023 serve you so deeply in connecting and becoming your future self. So much love. Thanks for being here with me.